Well, a win's a win, right?
Yeah, I think we've said that a lot over the last 2 hours since that game ended. It's probably the nicest thing you can say right now. A win's a win, and I do think there's something to that. Opening day, weird stuff happens, and we talked about this over the last week. You see upsets. We've seen them today. You see strange, unexpected occurrences. You see stuff that you just never dreamed would happen, and so if you can just get out with a win, you're happy. Certainly a lot to work on, but 1-0 is a lot better than the alternative.
Yeah, the Eagles are 1-0. They beat the Detroit Lions 38-35. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast brought to you by Nissan. He's Reuben Frank. I'm Dave Zangaro. Rube, so you can kind of look at it one of two ways. They have a lot to clean up. I mean, that game should not have been that close at the end. They had a 17-point lead, and they almost blew it.
17-point lead early in the third quarter, and yeah, I don't know exactly what happened. They were still pretty good on offense, but defensively they just kind of stopped tackling. They stopped. Look, they had some issues early on that first drive, but I thought defensively it seemed like they kind of got their act together. But yeah, you give up 21 second half points, you're lucky to win. Give up 35 total, you're lucky to win. And the defense, did some good things. You saw the Bradbury pick six. That's great. But I just, you can't let the Lions rush for, 181 yards and 3 touchdowns. Obviously,
they're
50
not that good. They're not good enough to put up 35 points.
They're not good enough to put up 35 points with a rag arm quarterback who had one. I think he had one completion over like 12 yards. Yeah, they. I mean, look, if you want to be an elite team, you're up 17 points twice. It was 31-14. No, it was 17 once. You're up 31-14 in the third quarter. You got to put a team away. You got to have that killer instinct if you want to be a great team. And
it felt like they were going to do that. It felt like we were headed toward a blowout. I mean, look, you give the Lions credit; they didn't lie down, which is that's kind of their hallmark. They're not going to give up. They play hard. But that team's just not very talented. I mean, they have some good players, and we saw that. I mean, DeAndre Swift is good, but they helped him out quite a bit.
He's not that good.
He's not that good. But, I mean, the one positive thing here definitely is that Eagles closed it out, especially that 4-minute drill. And we're going to get into the offense portion, and then we'll talk about defense in a little bit. More positive on the offense. And I thought them closing out the game the way they did, I think they got the ball back with 3 minutes and 49 seconds. To get a few first downs and to just bleed the clock, that was a nice way to finish this game.
Yeah, it was. And, they have that running game in their back pocket. And, they want to throw the ball more this year than last year. But when they need that running game, it was there. And and I think that's probably as encouraging as anything that came out of today. I like the way Shane Steichen used the different backs. He gave Miles a little rest there and had Gainwell out there, and Miles comes back in and gets a 24-yard run on his first carry back. Looked fresh. He looked healthy. Finished with 96. Obviously, he had the big 24-yarder down with 2:20 left.
One of the biggest runs of his career.
I agree. And I thought he showed a lot of guts on that play because their linebacker, I think it was number 55. It was a Derek Barnes, I believe. He had him wrapped up for a loss. It would have been, or at least no gain and no first down. And Miles just busted out of that and then got into the open field. And, the Jalen keeper on the 4th and 1, I know, I'm still not sure he got the first down, but that sealed it. But I thought the Miles 24-yarder, the second 24-yarder, was one of the bigger runs he's ever had just because of the situation. And, he's had a lot of long runs where he just gets the ball and there's a big hole and he runs through it. But this was different. This was Miles running up the middle. He had a couple guys around him, and he busted out of that and got down to the 27 on that play. And pretty much, look, there was, I think that got to the 2-minute warning. So there was still some time left, but for the most part, it wasn't game, set, and match, but it was game, set. He ran hard, 13 carries, couple catches, 96 yards. And he got in the end zone for the first time since December of 2020. So that was good to see.
He said it
I
felt good
really
to
like,
get back in
and
there.
yeah, I'm sure it was. We talked about just how, like, I think he's kind of gone under the radar. He didn't practice for most of camp. He just started practicing, 10 days ago. There hasn't been a lot of conversation about Miles Sanders, but he's a big part of what they want to do. And we saw that today.
Yeah, 13 for 96, a touchdown. 4 different Eagles scored a rushing touchdown.
I wonder when the last time that happened was.
Yeah, if only there was someone to look that up.
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked because on October 22, 1961, the Eagles beat the Cowboys 43-7 at the Cotton Bowl. Remember that? Remember that game in the Cotton Bowl? Clarence Peaks had 2 rushing touchdowns. Billy Ray Barnes had 1. Ted Dean, who the year before was the hero in the 1960 NFL Championship game, he had 1. And a guy named Theron Sapp, who I have to admit I've never heard of, he had 1. So first time in, how long ago was 1961? 61 years ago. First time in 61 years, 4 different Eagles have scored a rushing touchdown. But I'm glad you asked because I wasn't going to mention it.
Yeah. Theron Barnes, or what was it? Theron Sapp?
Theron Sapp.
Pretty good quote.
He was a 10th round pick of the Eagles in 58. He had 5 career touchdowns, and that was one of them. Finished his career with the Steelers. That's way too much information on Theron Sapp. Went to Georgia. Anyway, so
yeah.
216 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns, all by different guys. Gainwell had a couple nice runs and caught a pass. Boston Scott got in the end zone, used all 3 running backs, but Miles is going to be the bell cow, and he played like one today.
Yeah. All right. I don't know why we buried the lead. A.J. Brown is a monster. Just a monster.
It's the greatest debut ever by an Eagles receiver. Dante Stallworth.
That wrapped up by halftime, didn't
Dante Stallworth had 141 yards in 06 in the opener, but I've said this probably 10 times. He's so much better than I thought. And I said that before this game.
Yeah.
Like when you see him every day at practice and just see how physical he is and how consistent he is, how steady he is, just how he attacks the ball, how aggressive he is. And we saw all of those things, mainly in the first half, but yeah, throughout the game, 10 for 155. I know everyone's going to talk about the 54-yarder, and they should. It was an incredible effort. I mean, the dude was holding his jersey, and he still busted away from him. The one that was incredible to me was the 18-yarder that he just snagged like an inch off the ground.
That was a really underthrown ball. Bailed his quarterback out.
And yeah, he really did. And he's going to do that a lot this year. Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback just because of A.J. Brown's presence. Look, it's one game, so you don't want to go too crazy and start, putting him up there with T.O. and Tommy McDonald and all this. But we haven't seen receiver play like that around here. Let's be honest. Deshaun had some great games. Macklin had some great games. But this is T.O. I think you have to go back to T.O. to find a talent like this. And he only played 22 games as an Eagle.
I mean, Deshaun was a great receiver, but a different type of receiver.
Yeah, and I think, the thing about Deshaun, like, he wasn't just go routes. I mean, he ran a lot of different routes, but he got open because of speed.
Yeah, I mean, A.J. Brown he can be a volume guy. He can hit big plays.
And he was both today.
The thing that impresses me so much about him is him in the middle of the field. We saw last year, you looked at those Jalen Hurts passing charts, all the dots were mostly to the right, nothing in the middle. I mean, there were games where he just wouldn't throw to the middle of the field. A.J. Brown's going to change that. A.J. Brown opens up the entire field for him. He's going to make a huge difference in that aspect.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I do think they need to be more balanced. Quez didn't get a target. Devontae didn't have a catch. He had 4 targets, had a drop in there.
He had 1 catch and it got negated.
Got negated by a penalty. 1 of 10 the Eagles committed. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But, Goddard and AJ had 215 of their 243 yards. And, yeah, ideally you'd like to see him a little more balanced than that. But you go with the hot hand, and Jalen did that. 13 targets, 155 yards is insane. I mean, that's like 12 yards a target, which is it's crazy. Look, he's not going to have 150 yards every game, but it's 11.92. That's a pretty good guess right there. So he's not going to have 150 yards a game, but you just keep saying to yourself, they got him for the 18th pick and a third-round pick. Like, you're not going to draft a guy. And he signed through, for 3 more years after this year. He's like the guy the other team always had. And now the Eagles have him, and it takes him getting used to seeing that kind of talent from a wide receiver. I mean, we got excited.
He's so young that he could theoretically still get better.
Yeah, that's true. And his first game,
he's already a Pro Bowl caliber player, but
yeah. So, I mean, we got excited around here when like Travis Fulgham had 70 yards, or I mean,
Fulgham had that 152.
He did. AJ beat him by 3 yards. Didn't get in the end zone, but had a monster game.
I thought Goddard had a big game. That one catch and run from Goddard, man, he's ran
down to the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
I
was surprised he didn't get in. He was running with a full head of steam, and he took a few guys with him.
He played really physical today. I thought it was.
I think so. That was right after the.
Yes, it was.
Right after the late hit on Jalen, and I think he ran with a purpose on that.
He ran angry on that one, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was, but he had a little edge the whole game. Just like in the end zone. I think after the Miles touchdown, he just kind of was it Hawkins. He just kind of took it a little almost a cheap shot at somebody. I like that. Play with an edge. Play on right up to the edge. Don't get a personal foul. That's one penalty they didn't get. So he was big. He had that 27-yarder, he had an 18-yarder, and a 15-yarder, I believe. But again, AJ had 10 of their 18 catches, so that's not ideal. But he was. Hey, why wouldn't you keep throwing to him?
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the quarterback. What do you think of Jalen Hurts?
I thought he's fine. I think his stats don't really, show how well he played. He didn't throw for any touchdowns. He could have. He ran for one. They ran for 4 touchdowns. So why, the Goddard one could easily been a touchdown if he got another half yard. The AJ Brown one could have been a touchdown. But he started out 0 for 5. After that, he was 18 for 27. I thought he showed a lot of composure, a lot of poise. He wasn't perfect. He had like 3 balls batted down at the line of scrimmage. I didn't like that. He certainly ran too much, and in some cases he ran too early, which is something, we saw last year. You hope he outgrows it. I think some of them it was the right call. Some of them he probably could have stood in the pocket and made a throw. He had 17 carries. 3 of them were kneel downs at the end, so 14, but that's still too many. I'm afraid he's going to get hurt. I'd like to see that number come down, and yeah, it has to me. I mean, he's a great runner, but he had 90 yards for crying out loud and a touchdown. But I thought for the most part he made good decisions. I thought he delivered the ball well for the most part. He underthrew a couple. There was one to Gainwell. He had him in the left flat, probably for a first and goal, and threw it low. But for the most part, no turnovers, and that's where he's shown a lot of growth. And when you can go 0 for 5 and still, go 18 for 32, what's that? What's 18 for 32? 56%. That's low, but the stats don't tell the story. I thought he made a lot of big third down plays. I thought he threw the ball, the 54-yarder to AJ was on third down. He converted, I think, 4 third downs and a 4th down with his legs. The one big one to Goddard was a third down. I thought he was really good on third down, which is obviously crucial and something they weren't great at last year. He got the ball down the field. I like what I saw for the most part. He wasn't, didn't show tremendous growth from last year, but he played well.
Yeah, I thought he played well. And some of those incompletions were actually good plays. He was scrambling. Sure. He got out of the pocket, threw the ball away. Those are incompletions, but those are intelligent plays that saved them a lot of yards. I tend to agree with you. I think he took off a little early on some of those, but the hits bother me. Taking as many hits as he did, some right up on that line, some over the line. It's going to happen. I'm worried about the cumulative effect of them long term. I asked him about that. He said he's not, and I get that he's not, but he took a lot today.
Yeah, the first three, I mean, he slid 3 times in the first half and got hit late, and none of them were called.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what they can do, how they approach it. I guess they're going to send those to the league and say, what the heck? Eventually they started calling him, but, I mean, he took a few shots in that game that
concerning.
I thought they should have called it a couple times in the first half.
Yeah, me too. But even if they call it, he's still taking that toll. And
yeah, but the idea is if they start calling it, maybe they stop doing it.
Right. And you remember the Eagles had this problem with Vic, and Andy blew up at a presser and just said how the league needs to do a better job protecting him. A running quarterback is still a quarterback and needs to be protected as much as a pocket quarterback. And if Tom Brady got hit late sliding like Jalen did today, these guys are going to get kicked out of the league. Any pocket. It's just there's a different standard when it's a running quarterback. If you're running with the ball and trying to gain yards and you're inbounds, you're fair game. But if you're sliding, you're supposed to be protected, and he wasn't.
Yeah,
that's troublesome.
Yeah, it is, and you're at the point now that we're like, that's it's part of his game. You don't want to take it away. It's tricky because I mean that's what makes him special. Those. You know how demoralizing those third down runs are for a defense?
Yeah.
Especially
those third and longs.
Third and 15 he converted?
I think it was the third and 15. He got 16. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that kills a defense. So he has that. I agree with you. There were a few times he probably took off early. I'll live with that. I think you're trying to find when to do it. Ultimately, though, his legs are going to help the passing game because it's going to force teams to dedicate resources to him running. And once they do that, theoretically, it opens up things in the passing game. I think that's like kind of the next evolution of this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I did think the O-line was kind of shaky early.
A little bit.
I thought he kind of got flushed out pretty quickly. Look, these guys didn't play in the preseason. And, so it's not a surprise if things take a little while to get rolling on both sides of the ball, which they did. But I thought
Kelsey had a pretty good game for missing as much as he did.
Who's that?
Kelsey.
Yeah.
He was second level blocking. The one mistake on the offensive line that killed me was Jordan Mailata got called for a hold. He had the rusher wide. He had no reason to hold. And I bet you he'll go back and watch that one and go, what the heck was I doing? I thought they were a little shaky. I'll have to go rewatch it. It's tough to process it all right now, but it seemed like there were some times where it was a little leaky.
Yeah. But again, you get out with the win, and they scored 38. Well, the offense scored 31. He'll take that.
Yeah. You got anything else on the offense?
I don't think so. No. I mean, it was Miles, Jalen, and Brown, and a little Goddard.
They ran some 12 personnel in this game with Jack Stoll.
Yeah.
I noticed that Zach Pascal was on the field a lot of third downs. They would take Quez off, which kind of makes sense. You have the guy you can really trust to be a blocker, sure hands. You don't need the big play. We saw Kenny Gainwell in the 2-minute offense like we'd kind of seen last year.
It was interesting that Calcaterra was inactive and Noah Tongai played and actually was targeted, which
he dropped it.
He had a bad drop. That was kind of –
well, that was on a play where they were running 12 for that series, and Stoll got banged up, so they sent him out there. But I'm guessing he was really up because they wanted him on special teams. I'm guessing he offers more than Calcaterra in that.
I guess at this point that's true. He's a good special teamer.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, you deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself. Shop your local Nissan store at nissanusa.com today.
All right, let's talk about this defense because it was a really strange game defensively. They give up the early touchdown, and you're going, oh no. And then they locked it down. I mean, the next 3 drives were 3 and outs. Then they had the pick 6, and you're thinking, game over. They figured this out, and not so much.
Yeah, I don't know if they got gassed in the second half. It looked that way to me. It looked like there were guys that looked like they were out of shape. I don't know how much of it. I think it's not playing the preseason games. I just don't buy that because it was the same last year.
Part of it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but they tackled well in Atlanta last year. I just think there was some lazy tackling, and
that was the biggest problem on defense.
Yeah, and lack of pass pressure. I don't think they got very good pass pressure. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't like the tackling on all levels. Saw a lot of arm tackle efforts. And Swift, look, I don't think Swift's a great player, but he's a tough physical runner, and
he's pretty good.
He's pretty. Yeah, I mean, he had a $144 today, but he's not a guy you can arm tackle. He's just. I mean, anybody coached by Deuce Staley is not going to be a guy you can arm tackle. And they just got out physicaled. I thought the defense in the second half really got out physicaled. And on that first drive, I thought the first drive was kind of like one of those, look, these things happen on opening day. Yeah. They just weren't ready. And Dan Campbell had them all fired up. I'm sure he was talking 44-6.
Fighting kneecaps and whatnot.
What's that?
Fighting kneecaps.
Yeah, all that stuff. But like you said, the defense kind of got its sea legs. They started getting stops. I thought the secondary was really active there. They were knocking balls down. Goff couldn't complete anything. But they just, they were able to run the ball, and that kept them in the game. $181, it just can't happen. And that was tackling, and I think guys were gassed. And I just didn't see a lot of production from the front. I just didn't see a lot of production from Fletch, from Hargrave, from BG, from Sweat, from Reddick. I didn't see what I wanted to see from those guys.
Yeah,
and
I thought for the most part the line did a good job tackling the run, but then the second level was leaky.
Yeah, no, I would go along with that, but I didn't see a lot. There weren't a whole lot of tackles at the first level either. I don't think anybody tackled well. I mean, maybe Epps did. Epps missed one though. So yeah, I think everybody's
pretty stout run defender.
Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't seem to. I didn't have the play time yet, but I know it's out there. Do you have any idea how many snaps? It didn't seem like a whole lot.
I don't know. I mean, once after that first drive, which it took too long to get him in there, they were getting gashed. He would have helped. Then he didn't get in on that drive until the goal line. After that, he played a decent amount.
Did he?
Yeah, he was out there to start some drives, take him off the field on third downs, but he was out there. I thought he played pretty well for his first game. I'm a little worried about Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. Look, he gave up.
I don't know what is this defense good at? They have to figure that out, and they have to just do that.
Well, I think they cover well. I think we saw that. I think they're built to get pressure, and they didn't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what are they? The second highest paid D line. That doesn't even include Reddick, but because he's a linebacker technically. But if you have Sweat and BG and Fletch, and I mean Barnett's still here, and Reddick, you got to be able to pressure, Jared Goff. And they blitzed. I thought they did well blitzing early. Maddox had some good pressures. I thought
they had that 1-0 blitz. That was great. The one good pressure was on the pick 6 from Marlon Tuipulotu.
Yeah, he had a good pressure. I thought Gardner Johnson blitzed a couple times. That looked like I
thought he had a pretty good game for just getting here.
Yeah, he really did. He was really active, especially in the first half. I thought that DPI was bogus on him. I don't know if you had a good look at that. But
I never saw a replay, honestly.
Yeah.
I thought it was close.
But yeah, look, I'm concerned about the defense, and they had a big pick 6, and that's great. 2 of the new guys combined on that, Kazir and Bradbury. But no sacks, and they gave Fletch a sack on that's an aborted play on the fumbled snap.
I think they took it away.
All right, it's in the game book, but I took it away on the post game
Yeah.
show. So that is not a sack. So really, no sacks and one takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
Against Jared Goff. I mean, please, Slay dropped a pick. It was in his hands. It would have been a good play, but it's a play you're an All-Pro or Pro Bowler. Make that play. It's in his hands. Went right through his hands. Yeah. You got to make those plays when you get the opportunities.
They almost had another one. Gardner Johnson looked like he was about to pick. I think Marcus Epps tipped it away.
Yeah,
he doesn't know that his teammate was right behind him about to pick it off. That was kind of just unlucky.
Yeah, but to me, without sacks, without pass pressure, without takeaways, you're going to be a sitting duck out there. Kirk Cousins, I don't know what's going on in that Packers game. I don't want to say the score because we're taping here, but he's really good. I mean, and they have a really good wide receiver last time I checked. And they also have Justin Jefferson. That was a Rager joke.
We got it.
And they run the ball. They run the ball well. If this defense plays the same way, if they tackle the same way, if they pressure the same way, they're going to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's fair. And look, I understand that the outside backers in this system are going to have to drop on occasion. If I have to watch Josh Sweat drop into coverage on receivers a lot this year, I might lose my mind.
Well, I hope it happens then because I want to see that.
It's just, I mean, you have these pass rushers, and I get it on occasion, but we saw it in training camp too. It's like, I don't know if that's they talk such a big game about finding out what their players do best and utilizing it. Josh Sweat is not best used dropping in the coverage. He's just not.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of things to figure out here. You should not be giving up 35 points to the Lions. And like you said, I thought they had the thing under control. When it was 21-7, I thought they were going to win like 35-14.
It felt like that.
It did. And then it just got away from I felt really almost like
losing that game.
What's that?
They were really close to losing that game.
Yeah, they were. I mean, I don't know your angle on the Jalen Hurts keeper.
I thought he got it, but it was close.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been enough to overturn it, but
yeah, because I mean, you can't see. I mean, I thought it was actually a bad spot, but once I saw where they spotted it, I was like, oh, I mean, they didn't have a whole lot of time. How much time was left at that point? Well, there was still. Let's see where
kneel down right after that.
Yeah, so Miles' 24-yarder was at 2:21. So then they got another set of downs. Hurts up the middle. So it's 1:06. But again, they were only at the 40.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lions only needed a field goal to tie, and they had all the momentum.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get that, I think they lose the game.
It's possible. We'll never know, but it's very possible.
We'll never know. One thing about Jalen Hurts, he is a tough guy. And I don't know if he gets credit for that, whether it's taking those hits and popping up. I mean, any quarterback that runs 17 times, 3 of them were kneel downs, but I mean, he is a very tough physical dude. He's not the biggest guy, but man, and I think that's one of the reasons his teammates love him so much.
Yeah, that's part of it. I wanted to hit special teams real quick. Credit to Zach McPherson on that surprise onside kick.
Stupid onside kick, but yeah. I thought they had all the momentum.
Yeah.
Still a lot of time left. I don't know. You give it back. Pardon?
Dave Phipp.
Yeah, it's Dave Phipp, but it's Dan Campbell. Zach McPherson recovered, and I mean, it went right to him, but that's not an easy thing to do. You know you're going to get clobbered.
Yeah. He had all the poise in the world on that play. That was a big play.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought special teams I thought Aaron Sipas had fine. He was fine. Domes early in the season, don't worry me with him. It's over here at the link, in December on a windy, cold, snowy day. That concerns me, but that was good. What'd you think, Covey?
Thought he looked good. I mean, he didn't break anything, but even that one, Zach Pascal ended up like in his lap. And
Yeah,
that was a dangerous play.
it really was.
And it was really hard. I don't want to make this pile on the old punt returner day, but I don't think that gets fielded cleanly if it's last year.
I think that's a great point. This is his first game in the NFL. He's not even on a roster. He's a practice squad call-up. He's an undrafted 25-year-old rookie and had the poise to catch that ball. I mean, when he got pushed out by his teammate, that was a big situation, deep in Eagles territory. Yeah, he had an 11-yarder. That was
showed a little wiggle on that one.
A little bit, yeah. But I thought he made the right decisions. That's the main thing. And just doing that is an upgrade.
I'd let him return kicks. I don't think Quez is very good at it.
I would too. I don't think Quez is either. I don't really like his – I think he has good instincts back there. He's fast. I don't think he sees things real well. Maybe they just didn't want too much on his plate in his first game.
Maybe.
But I think it's time to get him on the 53 and let him do both. Yeah. I mean, they don't have to put him on the 53 for a couple more weeks, but I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I was impressed with him. And, I talked to him on Thursday, I think it was, and he just said, I'm going to go out there and I might not show anybody, any big time playmaking, but I'm going to catch the ball. I'm going to make the right decision. I'm not going to fumble. He's a confident kid with a little swagger in his own Mormon way.
Yeah.
I like that. You just feel really confident with him back there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And last year that was not the case.
And, I mean, hopefully the bigger yardage comes. It didn't seem like he had any real room to run back there. So, but you feel a sense of confidence with him there. And cover teams were fine as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. I don't think we missed anything.
No.
I like this stadium. This is a good stadium. The acoustics make it very loud, and the press box is not enclosed, so it's a loud afternoon here.
Yeah. Jalen made the comment. Well, you were. I'm sure you were there. He said it's got a low ceiling, which is
it does.
That's what pilots say. When there's a lot of cloud cover at a low altitude, there's a low ceiling. But he said that makes it louder. I think it was A.J. Brown said it was one of the loudest stadiums he's played in. You have a lower ceiling, you're going to get more, the noises.
Yeah, the acoustics in here make it it gets this is one of the louder stadiums in the NFL.
I remember when I was trying to do quick slants live with Gunner on the concourse, and Big Sean was doing his rehearsal for the halftime shows. It was the day before Thanksgiving, when the Eagles played that Thanksgiving there. I was at the Ryan Matthews fumble game, I think, and it was so loud, and Big Sean was had to be 60 yards away from us.
Man, he didn't even have a microphone.
Well, we couldn't hear Sean Kane, our own Big Sean. We couldn't hear him in our ear. And we're just making up the show as we go along. It's a loud place. Look, I think, I don't want to be too critical, because you go into a dome on opening day with a lot of new pieces, and maybe that's part of it. I mean, when you look at Jordan Davis and Kaiser White and Bradbury and I mean, there's just a lot of new guys. Epps is in his first year as a starter. Reddick's a new guy, obviously. CJ, GJ is brand new. He's as new as you can get. So there's a lot of new pieces on that defense. A lot of things, there's a lot of room for them to gel more as a group, as a unit. I think you saw some individual good things, but they've got a lot of growth to do as a group.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, that's all I've got. I'll give. Let me one more thing. The city of Detroit, they're doing a good job.
Really, what's going on there?
The whole Greektown area is fun now. They have a bunch of restaurants and bars. Good feel there. Over by Comerica Park has gotten kind of nice. Even the riverfront. I'll be honest. When I first went to Detroit, what was that? 2015 was it? It was. I joked with my buddy. It felt like Gotham. There was just empty everywhere. It's coming back a little bit.
It's like Escape from New York.
Yeah, it was rough. But I was.
Are you going to tell everyone what you did last night?
Yeah, I went to see Eric Clapton at Little Caesars Arena. It was fun. It was a good show. He can still wail, man. He's I think 77 years old, and he's still got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen him. He's one I've never seen.
It's worth seeing. He puts on a good show, has good musicians with him. Then he'll let them kind of
Sure.
solo a little bit and get their shine. It's fun.
Yeah, that's good for you. You're one concert ahead of me this week.
I'll take it. It might be the last week of the year.
All right.
All right, let's wrap this up.
All right.
No, we're good. We'll be back with you guys on Tuesday once we get to rewatch it a little bit. And then we'll get ready for Minnesota Monday Night Football. That'll be fun. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye Podcast, please rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, please click the like button and subscribe there as well. That's it for Rube. I'm Dave. This has been Eagle Eye presented by Nissan. We'll catch you next time.